started. This is our first session that we're running as an RC expert on Service Collaborator, and then we have another session that's going to be running this afternoon, which will be the Americas morning. So if you do have any colleagues that are based in the Americas, late part of EMEA and also LATAM, please do share the invite because they'll be able to join the session this afternoon. So this is set up a little bit different. It's Ask the Experts, which means we don't come with lots of slides where we present to you. It's very much about you asking questions to us. Obviously, we will get things kicked off firstly, just to go through what we want to recap on. We've had a couple of the Service Collaborator workshops. We had lots of questions that come from both sessions. So I'm hoping some of you that did attend those actually got to read some of the Q&A because that will give you an idea of some of the areas that you might want assistance on, or it also might help you as well. So the two sessions are the 25th, which we're running today, and then you can see there's other sessions we'll be running for the other agents. As and when we start putting more workshops on, you will see those get updated in the system. So if you've already signed and subscribed to one or two of them, you will get notifications as well. So just as a recap, and we've got a team today that's helping us. You may have joined one of their sessions specifically. So we've got Suran, we've got Rod, and we've got Priyanka. They are here really to answer the questions. Some of them, if we aren't aware, we will maybe need to come back to you if they're product related, but we will do our best to get some of these questions answered for you today. So I'm now going to start unmuting people, and why I do so, which means you've got a free opportunity to speak to us, and also either raise your hand, put a question in the Q&A, or come off of mute and ask us directly. So why I do that, I know we had one of the questions that did pop up and I was talking to the team about earlier, was something that we get asked pretty much every workshop is what agents are available for end users and support agents. And I know, Suran, that was a question that you felt quite comfortable to answer. Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah. Let's start with that. Thanks, Sam. And welcome everyone who has joined today. So to get started, we have multiple agents coming in here. We have more than, I would say, 30 agents, and they span across the entire ESM or entire service management process. Not only service management, it goes into service operations as well. But if we talk specifically from the service management perspective, we can divide it into two parts. First part is for the end users, and that's where you have Employee Navigator as an agent, which allows you to create tickets in a conversational way. It allows you to search knowledge articles, or it also allows you to search knowledge articles across your different knowledge bases, and get the right answer. So that specifically is for end users. It also allows you to look at your tickets, what you have raised, where you stand in terms of approvals and so. So that's specifically Employee Navigator, and it is for the end users. But the one we are talking here about, the Service Collaborator, is for the support agents, the agents which resolves ticket. It has multiple capabilities like resolution summarization, ticket summarization, activity log summarization. So those two agents specifically reach out to one agent, Employee Navigator, reach out to end users, Service Collaborator reach out to the support agents. Then there are a plethora of other agents like Insight Finder, which talks about creating dashboards, and they can use it. The necessary people with necessary permissions can use it to create dashboards by using the conversational ways through service operations, PWF, ITSM, and other tools as well. So there are many such agents available from the HelixGPT perspective. The one we are talking today about or focusing today is about Service Collaborator. If anybody has any further question, please do ask, and we will be happy to answer that.
Thanks, Suran. And obviously why people have to think about what questions that they may have. I know we had so many, and some of the ones I kind of looked at to summarize that might be useful as well. We had a data ingestion question that came up on two of the workshops, and it was about scheduling data ingestion for different, what's the difference with using rules. I know some of the response back was there was two distinct approaches for data ingestion into BMC Helix GPT. Does Rod or Priyanka want to answer that question?
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, it's regarding the data ingestion. Yes, there are two different approaches for data ingestion in BMC Helix GPT. So one is using the out-of-the-box rule, scheduling data ingestion. So for regular updates from BMC's native Helix applications using scheduler for the routine ingestion. So that can be done. So that is the one approach for data ingestion. And another approach for this is manual activation. So out of the box rules that are not enabled by default. So administrator must configure these rules that can be triggered. So yeah, so there are two types or two different ways, scheduling data ingestion and manual activation.
Just adding to that, guys, why do we need to get that data ingested? Because we all know that any Gen AI will work on data, and that's the whole purpose of having this data. Is that as part, for example, if I limit ourselves to Service Collaborator, so we do the data ingestion process as a first step, where we insert data from ITSM and other solutions or other data sources. The reason is that we want uh, previous data to be referred while we are working on incidents, when we are looking for knowledge articles. So that's where you would see, if you look at the configuration guide or you follow the configuration guide for Service Collaborator or any such agents, it would have the data ingestion as a first process. So it is coming data, for example, uh, it will prominently take data from your ITSM data, which is the previous incidents. It will help in prediction and it will help in understanding what similar tickets were raised. It gets data from your remedy knowledge management, which is your knowledge management repository. Let's say one source of knowledge management repository. Then can be HKM as well, Helix Knowledge Management. This is a cloud-based knowledge solution. You can bring in data from all such sources, but it's not limited to only Helix data sources. You can integrate to SharePoint Online or Confluence Online and get data from that, because we do understand that organizations knowledge base not only limits to the Helix or ITSM database, it can vary, it can spread across other solutions as well. So using this Helix GPT, you can connect to external data sources, as I mentioned, and then get data or knowledge data from that as well. But remember this, the data ingestion is the very primary and very fundamental step of getting the data into ITSM and getting benefited from that.
Thank you, Siren. I'll just take a pause. Does anybody have any questions or
Hello.
burning questions? Hello. Hi, Abhijat.
Hey, Samantha.
Hello. Do you have a question?
Is anyone around? Hello.
Yeah, Bijat, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you okay. Can you hear us? Maybe we'll respond. So Abhijat, I think you came off mute. We could hear you. So if you do have a question, we can hear you. Do speak with us. So okay, why we're waiting, Suran and team. Obviously, a couple of other the questions that we actually had. There was another one around, are there use cases with value for GPT configuration fixed, and do they drive things internally? I know there was a reference documentation that we provided referring to the demo, so I don't know if any of you want to elaborate a little bit on that, because we quite often get asked about documentation. So around use cases.
Rod, you want to go for that?
Around use cases, Sam, can you repeat the question? I'm sort of
So we had
understand the question a bit better.
Yeah, we had a question. It was, are there use case values for each GPT configuration fixed, and do they drive things internally? So we did share on one of the sessions, I think it was the Americas session, some documentation around use cases and also reference to a demo. I don't know if there's anything else you want
Okay,
to
so
add on
this is
that one.
about understanding how to get the most out of Service Collaborator in terms of use cases, and
Mm-hmm.
having some
Yeah.
example use cases.
Mm-hmm.
And do we have documentation around that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I'm not aware of any myself. Let's check and report back later in the session, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. So maybe let me put something in the chat or question and answer. Shall I put it in chat or question and answer? If we were talking about the values or use cases which are supported by or kind of addressed by a service collaborator, we have a web URL or your documentation around it. On the similar lines, if you go to any of the agent, you should get that on the documentation. But just for the reference, I'm putting it for Service Collaborator. Maybe I will put it into the chat window. That would
Yes.
be.
Yeah, if you do it and share it with all, and I'll also share it with everyone after. Thank you.
So I have put it in webinar chat.
Okay. Great. And then another question I remember coming up, actually, I've been asked this myself on webinars as well. We were asked about the difference between BMC Helix ITSM and Digital Workplace. Priyanka, do you want to take that one? That was a question that came up actually ahead of this session as well.
Yes, sure. So basically, ITSM and digital workplace. So what ITSM is? So ITSM is the service management. It manages the service processes. Let's say, for example, incident, problem, change, and based as per the ITIL processes. For digital workplace, it is the user-facing UI or user-facing application from where end users can raise service request or track their service request and get the request done with the help of the backend requests which are created. So when I say backend request, the requests which are created as incident or change, which would be managed by ITSM processes. So basically, digital workplace acts as a digital front store for ITSM services.
Great, thank you, Priyanka. And if anyone has any questions beyond that, let us know. Another question was multi-form search capability, retrieving data by searching across multi-forms and applications. So someone was asking for an explanation around that with the 4 tools. I don't know who would like to pick that one up.
I think MFS tool, this is about MFS tool, which we configure as part of the Service Collaborator, right, as an agent. So this is basically we are performing a multi-form search. We are putting in a multi-form search capability and retrieving the relevant data for searching across multiple forms and application. So when we look for search something, let's say in Service Collaborator, you are asking HelixGPT. This is the specific MFS tool which gonna go into various applications and search based on whatever the question or whatever the phrase you have asked for. Let me put something onto the chat window which people can use and get help from.
Great, just make sure it's shared with everyone.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Just having a little look at some of the others. Oh, okay. So actually, we do get asked, especially when it's competitive. What is the knowledge source and should it connect to ServiceNow? I don't know, Rod, if you want to take that one.
Well, if you've got ServiceNow, it should connect to ServiceNow. Yeah, we do have a connector for ServiceNow, and as far as I know, so definitely if you want to use HelixGPT alongside ServiceNow, it's a good idea to ingest ServiceNow data and in a similar way that you can with ITSM. I think there's some documentation. I won't claim to be an expert in ServiceNow. We'll put in some documentation around the ServiceNow connector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just adding to that, guys. Yes, there is a ServiceNow connector, but it is not part of the HelixGPT. As I mentioned earlier, you can have currently, if you want to connect your HelixGPT to different knowledge base sources, it can be RKM, HKM, and SharePoint and other online knowledge sources, SharePoint, Confluence, and so it can do web crawling as well. And by every release, we are actually adding more and more knowledge sources. But if you want to use something which is not there out of the box right now, you may have to write your own connector to get that in. Just to clarify.
Yeah. The documentation says you can use ServiceNow
Yeah.
as a knowledge source.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll put the link in. Or do
Please.
you want me to just put the link to that?
Yeah, and
in chat?
I'll share it with everyone post session anyway.
Okay.
Just because they're links that we've reused before that we've had questions from. Another question was, does the model remember previous interactions and how do I enable this? So this is around the Gen I providers and LLM. Who would like to take that question?
Sorry.
There's a
Sorry, Sam, but the question was about remember previous interactions?
So the question was, does the model remember previous interactions? Yes. How to enable this? So it was more of a Gen AI provider and LLM context.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Rod, you want to take or pre-order?
I'll say what I know, and then you can add to it.
Sure,
I know that
sure.
we have the session count, so we have 10. By default 10 questions are remembered. So it basically submits every time you ask another question. It will submit the previous 9 questions up to previous 9, and until you say start a new session, then it will forget. But as far as learning from interactions, I'm not sure that. I mean, we use our tickets as a data source, but I'm not sure that we actually learn from the interactions themselves beyond that 10 question limit. And I think that 10 question limit is changeable. That's the default. And I think there is a way of changing that. Seren, do you know more about that?
Yeah, maybe I will have a little longer and widespread answer. So any agent generally comes with a memory component, not just HelixGPT agent or any agent comes with memory, and that's where the capability or power of agent remains, that it can understand and retain the context of it. So each of the agent, let's say it can be Service Collaborator, Employee Navigator, or any of the agent will remember the context which you're asking. So for example, in case of Service Collaborator, you are working on an incident and you say that summarize this incident, it will summarize it. And then you ask specific incident about that question, it gonna remember that and answer that. So it will remember things for you. But generally that also comes from your LLM as well. That also has some memory, but yes, if you want to yes no kind of an answer, yes, model does remember the previous interactions.
Great. Hopefully that's answered everyone's question, because that's come up on 2 of our sessions as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any questions from anyone. Don't be too shy. We would love to get some direct questions from you, because some of these came up before and also our previous sessions. Why I'll just give you a chance to think again. One other question that came up, and I remember this, was what permissions are needed to access HelixGPT in Innovation Studio? Who would like to take that question?
Yeah, I'll take it. So to access HelixGPT in Innovation Studio, the users must be granted with Agent Studio admission administrator role. So in short, it is as HGM admin role. You need to go to people form in ITSM, from where IS agent tab is there, IS tab. In that tab, you can add HGM admin role. So that is required to access the HelixGPT from Innovation Studio. And if you need to check on the what versions and system that you are having, you can check it the same from the Innovation Studio and the application. From applications, you would be able to understand what all versions are there in the application that is installed at your end.
Okay, thanks, Priyanka. Thanks for explaining. Okay. Do we have any questions from our audience participation? I don't see any raised hands at the moment or Q&A. I just want to give a few moments if you want to come off mute or you want to put a question in the Q&A. Obviously, it's more interactive if we get direct questions from you. I'm assuming many of you have gone on to our workshops. Any questions? Okay. I'm hoping we will get some questions. While we are also waiting, I'm going to just share my screen. If one of my team can confirm that they can see the correct screen. Are you able to see it yet? This is the Connect with webinar series. Are you seeing communities?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, wonderful. I do get asked quite frequently where all of the information is. Hopefully, when you've gone to some of these workshops, you get a thank you email, and in there is typically all of the content that we've created. So I just want to point everyone to a couple of the groups and areas that I would recommend that you go to in the community. So you should have, if you've worked with support before, you should already have an account created. If not, there is a registration link to sign up, and you can do that from the BMC community link up here. I will share that again in the thank you email from the sessions today. But let me point you to the community page. So for those that have come to many webinars that I do, we try to do them global. This is quite early for me, but we want to make sure that you do get opportunities to join live webinars as well as on demand. So on this page here, you'll see all of the sessions upcoming, which does include all of the workshops that are being run by the customer success and adoption team. So you'll see that there's registration links. So again, as I pointed out earlier, if you do have anyone that's in a different region and you'd like them to join, that registration link is typically the same as this one, because all of our workshops on there will connect you to whichever workshop you want. You can then highlight multiple sessions whenever you want to. So then you'll get the invites for all of them. We are running, as we mentioned, quite a few different agents, and then come January onwards, we will be looking at doing Employee Navigator, CMDB Governor, and Ops Warmer. So keep an eye out for those as well. Also keep an eye out for some of the sessions you may not have already attended. They will be listed down under the dates. So I'll just do you a quick scan here. You'll see after today, we've got Service Catalog Curator, which is in December. We are actually now going to be changing the session on the 11th. This will actually be Service Catalog, because we've done already today will be 2 sessions on Ask the Experts. We will also be putting more dates in January as well. So every session that you want to go to will be listed in here. And as you'll see, there's other webinars coming up. As soon as they come live, you'll see a registration link. So you can click on there. That will take you to the registration page of our event platform. Anything post event, so that's whether it's workshop or webinar, they're all kept at the bottom. You can see there's Q&A, slides, recording, all of the things that are accessible to you will be there for you and located. So they're all downloadable. Recordings, they take you to YouTube. That's where it gets placed. Slides are already put in the community, and the Q&A is an example of the questions that we get asked during some of the sessions. Sometimes it can be up to about 40 or 50 questions. Very useful to use for you to see what sort of questions people are asking. So I would highly recommend that you go and have a look at the past content if you haven't gone to some of the workshops. Now, what's important for today as well is we have 2 pages. So the calendar specifically just for these workshops alone. This is all listed in here. And again, I've put Q&A links and recordings. So any events that you may have missed and you want to catch up on, you'll find the links here. And this is a list of all of the workshops coming up. Obviously, it's just a bit more specific to the workshops, whereas the other one I've just shown you, that community page, is all webinars that are run by customer success are listed there. And if you ever want to check for any events upcoming, you've got this top bit here which says events. And then more importantly, if you want things all at the drop of a hat, and you want everything in a blog post, you've got the opportunity to go to the feed in the group. You can request to join, which will add you in. And if you have any questions for this team, which is the most important, you'll see this ask button here, and it asks you what you'd like to know. You can type in your question, click ask, and they will regularly check these feeds to see if there's any questions. For now, what you'll see is there's blog posts where I've summarized all of the workshops that we've done. They're all listed in here. Unfortunately, they're not in the right order where I've done some re-editing. So if you do want to have a look, they're all typically recaps. You can find those blog posts in there. But the main thing I would recommend to use this for is really to ask the team questions. And if you can't remember where the calendar is, I've also put the workshop blog post up here as well. Okay, so that's probably what I want to cover off, just why we've got the opportunity with no questions. I think it's important to know where you need to go. Don't worry about taking any links down or trying to write them down on paper. I will be sending these links out again to you post-event. Okay, do we have any questions from our audience? Otherwise, we will close the call early. And I think Suran, Rod and Priyanka, is there anything else like questions that you're aware of that have come up that might be useful to just re-mention again now?
Maybe one thing is specifically around Service Collaborator is it only for ITSM? The answer is no. You can use Service Collaborator as a support agent. You can use it for ITSM as well as the business workflow as well. So whatever the functionalities or whatever the capabilities Service Collaborator provides in ITSM, like incident summarization, resolution notes, all such capabilities are also available in business workflow. So if you're customer or you are using business workflow, you can configure it for business workflow, and at the same time, you can get data ingested up from the business workflows knowledge management as well. So it's just not limited to ITSM or IT service management. It goes beyond that into ESM world as well.
That's really good to mention, actually. Thanks for picking up on that one, Suran. Okay. We have a very shy audience this morning. Does anybody have any questions or burning questions they would like to ask us? I am actually going to very quickly launch a poll. We have been running these, even though it's just a generic one with the questions. If you can have a look, they're the same for all of our sessions that we run. Just need to have a listen and think about where you are in your journey with basically applying the agents. Do you need any extra help? How confident you feel. It's really important for this team to understand where you are in your journey. We would like to be able to help you. So obviously it's not just about getting onto the community group and asking a question. If you have something specific yourself alone, standalone, we will set up a session with you. So I'd love to get some feedback from you. And I've just launched the poll now. It's relevant to all of our sessions. Actually, I never actually categorized it as Ask the Expert, but they're all the same questions that we keep on asking on every workshop. We just want to make sure that you get the support. So if you could fill that in, we would gratefully appreciate. Rod and Priyanka, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Not really.
Yep, we are good.
Okay, well, if we don't have any questions, we can close the call. And I think, David, you just came off mute. Can you hear us? I know you sometimes have questions. Hello, can you hear us?
Unfortunately, I actually joined very late because
Did
there's
you?
something wrong with our email system, blocking all
Oh.
the BMC emails
Oh.
for events only specifically. I
Oh dear.
can't get any of, So it took me a while to joined, so I joined very late, unfortunately. I'm very upset because I was really
Oh.
interested in this whole thing, but I guess I'll watch the video.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different to the workshops where we present a lot and do a demo. So I will obviously send you out everyone the recording, but it's very
Yeah.
much an opportunity for you to ask questions to us. So do you have any questions from all of the workshops that you may have joined? Obviously, there's not lots of APAC ones, but from
No,
what what you've joined. Is there any questions that you have around the agents? Because whilst this is related to Service Collaborator, we have workshop sessions that are going across
Yep.
for all of the agents. Obviously, Employee Navigator will come in January or at some point, January, February. Is there anything that you would like to ask this team?
So I did see the previous one, which was the collaborator for effectively Helix dashboards and
Insight Finder.
Insight Finder. Thank you. I was struggling to remember the name of it. And with that one, can you, does it include all data from whether it's Innovation Studio or traditional Helix ITSM data, CMDB data? Can you do create a report based on any combination of that, or is it restricted more to only IT service management style data?
My answer?
I will.
Oh,
Yeah,
you go, sorry. Oh, yeah, let me do it. Yeah, basically it's tied to the Visual Query Builder, metadata studio queries, and they can be obviously off anything that we have connected to IS or AR system. So that includes business workflows, digital workplace.
Yep. Yes.
And
I guess
ITSM.
custom
They're all
and
converged
custom
platform now.
Forms.
Yep. And even your custom fields and forms, you can basically train it in your own data. It's extensible, right? It's not meant to be, you don't have to wait for us.
Okay. No, so that'd be something that's sort of that would be of interest, is how we train it in our own data.
Have you got Metadata Studio already up and running, David, or?
No.
Okay. It's a good incentive to get that up and running.
Yes.
I think.
Okay. So that's probably the secret code word I need is Metadata Studio.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Do you want to talk about that, Suren?
I will just, David, in terms of versions, right? You talked about what applications are supported. So in 25. Insight Finder started in 25.2, and then there you have incident problem change as an ITSM modules. But with 25.3, it extended itself with some of the more ITSM modules and some of the service operations components as well. And it can, in 25.3, it also started with, you can relate to one component to other, like changes and incidents and so on. You can start it from 25.3. In 25.4, which is coming in now, it is extended further. So you would have business, you can create dashboard based out of business workflow and so. So almost all of the modules, along with some ESM module like business workflow, you can create dashboards out of that. Now, if we talk about the custom forms and attributes. So if you are an Helix dashboard administrator, you can go to Helix dashboard and use the reported metadata studio there. It is there in Helix dashboard, whatever the custom form, you will have to import it into your views. And then you can let Insight Finder know how you can use that custom views while creating a dashboard. So it is, yes, the answer is Insight Finder as an agent will create dashboards, not just with your out-of-the-box ITSM and ESM data sources, but it will extend itself to your custom forms and attributes as well. I hope this gives you a right answer.
Right. So the metadata studio is inside of Helix dashboards.
That's right.
From what version?
It has always been there, but you can, if you are,
No, so I guess we're on a
you get
25.2
pushed
for everything.
the latest version each month.
Yes, Helix dashboards is
Yes.
always the latest version. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And the change risk advisor, has that been covered at all yet?
Change risk advisor is, yes, it is from available, but I would say it does some few actions, or it has some capabilities in terms of ITSM, but it puts
Yeah.
more value if you have the AI of solution as well. But yeah, it is there. We can send you the link about whatever version the change risk advisor is available for. Maybe you should go through some of the documentation about the change risk advisor, which will help you to decide how you want to use it.
I had a brief look at it, and
Oh, great.
yeah, as in I had a brief look at the documentation, not at the change risk advisor. I'm still struggling to convince our Azure team to let me have an OpenAI instance so that I can actually run all of this, but I'm pretty close now. Okay. Thank you very much for your help and advice.
Thank you for your questions. It's good to know that there's someone on the other side.
I'm just annoyed that I missed it because some issue with our mail scanning tool has decided to start blocking all these emails that were all working perfectly fine until about a week ago.
I know
No
there's
worries.
sometimes we get updates on our security and things change, so no problem at all.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to listen back to the recording. Plus, we'll have a session that will come up later as well. We're doing one in the afternoon. It'll be too late for you, but
Yeah.
we'll take all of the Q&A that comes out from that as well. That will be quite useful. And I'll wait until that session's done before I share it.
Okay.
Okay.
Have you got plans, David, to do Service Collaborator?
Absolutely, yes. So I don't know what
Yeah.
you had just via your discussion. That's probably one of the first. So that and whatever the one that connects to DWP is, I always forget their names.
Yeah.
What's the one where basically will allow our staff to make DWP requests via a chat interface.
Yeah, I think Service Collaborator would definitely be something TPG would have a lot of use
Yeah.
from.
Yes,
You know,
for sure.
knowing you.
Yes,
So that'd be an early thing
exactly.
to adopt. That's
Yeah.
quite straightforward. If you've been to our workshops, it's quite straightforward to set up, and there's a lot of value if you've got a lot of ticket history, which I'm sure you have.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hit our millionth DWP request about a month ago, and our CRs and incidents are also up in the many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of tickets. So yeah, we've got plenty of data there.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Once you get it up and
Okay.
running.
So,
Looking forward to
David,
it.
I have pasted a URL for just to get you some information about Change Risk Advisor. So maybe you can visit that.
Oh, appreciate that. Thank you. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. So if we don't have any further questions, we'll close the session. Thank you for everyone that's joined. Thank you to our panelists today for answering some of these questions that we've had. If there is anything else that comes up, we would really encourage you to go to the workshop group, sign in and ask questions away. And if you do need individual sessions, again, this team is available for you. You can either reach out to them directly, put a question into the blog post that we've got within communities, or if you've got my email address and you want a follow-up, I will find who you need to work with. So with that, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening, good rest of the day, wherever you are, and we'll be running this session again this afternoon.